house of cards keeps collapsing. New York City Mayor Eric Adams' top City Hall attorney has abruptly resigned. The attorney, Lisa Zornberg, said she, quote, concluded that I can no longer effectively serve in my position. Zornberg's departure comes just days after Adams' police commissioner, Edward Caban, resigned following the news that him and his brother are under federal investigation. Plus, the homes of several other high-ranking city officials in Adams' administration were raided earlier this month.
There are now 4 federal inquiries surrounding Adams' circle. It's unclear which crimes those inquiries are focused on and whether Adams himself will be indicted. But what is clear is that this all hurts Adams' chances at re-election come 2025. On Friday, another New York State Democrat, State Senator Jessica Ramos, joined a growing number of candidates hoping to take over the mayor's job. Adams has said he is cooperating with investigators and remains focused on his responsibilities.
So this is, tied to all of these investigations into Eric Adams, his campaign, his inner circle. There's one investigation that hinges on Turkish influence, whether the Turks gave improperly money to the Adams campaign, and some people are involved in that. And then there's a variety of other investigations. So this resignation from this Zornberg person was very abrupt. She just put out a letter saying, I resign, thank you, that's it. It was, I think, unexpected and surprising, apparently, to Eric Adams. This is someone who had a reputation for integrity, and so it's doing a little bit of reading between the lines, but what I think people think this resignation suggests is that she is uncomfortable with the level of corruption she has become aware of, does not want to be tainted by it, and is exiting the administration.
For sure. Now, this is a tricky one to talk about, I think, because we do have to stress there have been no charges yet leveled against anyone, and everyone protests their innocence and no wrongdoing and all the rest of it. That said, of course, the argument of no smoke without fire comes in, and there have been, for a long time, controversies or questions around people close to Eric Adams. In New York and in the New York media, there's been a lot of coverage of people who seem simply ethically sketchy. And whether that comes to a criminal head or not, we'll have to see. The one thing that I do think is interesting in a sort of broader national picture, Robby, is when Eric Adams first became prominent, winning the Democratic primary for mayor, which effectively means you become the mayor in New York, he was at least being talked up by some people as this rising Democratic star. And, after President Biden fades from the scene, maybe Eric Adams could be like a Democratic nominee or something. We're a very long way away from that, I think. I think his image has taken a real tarnishing over the past couple of years.
Sure, he's always been very unpopular with progressives, with the left, because he's a former policeman.
Right.
It was perceived and sort of run on a tough on crime platform or need to bring the city under control platform, which has made him unpopular with the left. At the same time, I don't know that he's balanced that out, I guess, by becoming more popular with people on the right. I don't see any conservatives really coming to his defense, because now he's in trouble for corruption adjacent things. It's not even really about his policies. I think the perspective of even a lot of people who do think the government needs to do more, the mayor ought to do more about crime, or even have more policing. I think the perception is that they have not succeeded in that, or just doing more, or having more police on the subway, but they're not actually even doing anything. They're just standing around. There was that whole controversy. Right. He's not really endeared himself to anyone.
No, and there has been a shift. Obviously his predecessor was Bill de Blasio, very beloved by the left. Then the shift to Adams was
just the left.
Just
no
the
one
left,
else.
No one else. Then there was this idea of it's Adams come along. He's going to be, as you say, the tough on crime guy, a somewhat more moderate or centrist figure. But I don't see any sense that Eric Adams has transformed the city for the better. The one thing I would say about Adams is that he follows in a long line of rather soap operatic kind of New York City mayors. We've had that for a long time, going back to people like Ed Koch. And so it has always been this very old school sort of politics of New York City Hall and who can climb to the top there, how you manage relations with the city council there, all of that. So it is, I think, maybe the only mayoral office in the city that makes people a national figure. Unfortunately, Eric Adams has rather, I would say, wilted under that national spotlight.
They have again, they've not charged him or suggested that he is specifically criminally liable yet. They did seize his phone.
Never a good sign.
That's never a good sign. It would not be surprising if charges do eventually materialize, I expect. But we really we have to expect that we can keep our foreign influence so directly out of our politics. Obviously, Bob Menendez is exiting Congress for accusations that he took Egyptian money, Egyptian gold, snuck in corners of his household. Not good. Needs to be dealt with. We will be back with more Rising in just a minute. Stick around.